Okay. Aapistsisskitsaato'si, good morning. It is Friday, the 8th of June, 2018, in the end of the lunar cycle Aapistsisskitsaato'si, the flower moon, our first summer lunar cycle. And I'm out here at Sspopiikimi. You know, the last 4 days I've been cranking on a writing project, and I need a day off. Yesterday was my deadline. Well, yesterday was my extended deadline. So I didn't get to enjoy my Thursday like I normally do down here at Sspopiikimi. But that's okay. It's Friday now, and we're gonna take a walkabout and see what's going on. Right off the bat, it's nice to see still cottonwood seed in the air. And I think I showed on one of my snake videos the other day this kind of neat thing that happens with the cottonwood seed when it's in the air. There's a little spider out here that puts a nest on the absinthe plants. Here, I'll show you. And it's not spider mites, as someone suggested. It's actual little spider. They build this webbing at the tops of the absinthe plants to coincide with the cottonwood seeding. And if you poke around, there is a little spider in there. A little spider. I don't want to destroy his nest, but he's right in here somewheres. Or she, I should say. So that's cool to see. Roses have been in bloom for last little bit. I don't know if everybody knows it, but you know, you can eat these rose petals or gather enough to make rose tea and that kind of thing. Yeah, man, I'm just excited to be out here. Spend a couple hours walking around and show you what I see. Wild mustards of Sspopiikimi. Let us count the ways. Here's one way right here. Look at this guy with these kind of basil leaves here. Remember about a month ago when these started emerging, these leaves, I was wondering what plant this was. It's a wild mustard. So the leaves, seeds, all that stuff is good. Here's another one. This is flicksweed, somewhat different leaf. You can see, same kind of four-petaled yellow flower though. So that's another. Here's pennycress in seed, and another wild mustard. And then over here, we got lens potted hoary cress. It's going into seed now too. And that's just in this little area. Couple of interesting plants in bloom here. I always like to show groups when I'm out in the coulees. This, and look at this, we got a little native sweat bee visiting these scarlet globe mallows. That little bee. Green iridescent. Those are our indigenous bees. Some of them. Any case, this globe mallow, the lore, although I've never tried it myself, the lore is that you can take the foliage of this plant, chew it up with your mouth, spit the slimy resulting kind of viscous saliva on your hands. You know, rub it around on your hands and it creates this like coating, right? An invisible coating. And if you have that invisible coating on your hands, you're supposed to be able to reach into boiling water and pull things out with your bare hands. That's the Blackfoot lore. But like I say, I haven't tried it. This other plant here, this is a kind of morning glory. And look, oh, he just left. But some of those iridescent glories are visiting these guys too. It's nice bright white morning glories. Now again, there's lore associated with this plant, but mainstream lore, not Blackfoot lore. And the mainstream lore associated with morning glories is, of course, the whole thing about eating the seeds as a hallucinogen. Now, I've never tried that either. But there sure are there's a couple of different species of morning glories in our area. This is really the one that we see here at Cottonwood Park. We have two different species, one quite a bit larger than this. So, yeah, a couple of things for the daredevil to try. Not me, though. So pretty much walked the entire west length now. No sign of the goose superfamily, although I think it might be one of the couples that's bedded down on the wet meadows right now. There's a few of them out there. Yeah, the waterfowl are kind of taking it easy right now. Mallards and geese both. Yeah, this lawnmower guy is like following me, wrecking my my natural ambiance. Oh, always the juxtaposition of golf course and nature park. Oh yes, it's almost berry time. It's berries forming on the Saskatoons, berries forming on the currents. Yeah, the harvest is going to be here before we know it, and then it's going to be very quickly gone. Oh, here we have yarrow in bloom. It's been in bloom a little bit, some of the plants now, but now it's kind of coming into its full like this. And yarrow is known across cultures as a really good anti-inflammatory. Topical anti-inflammatory, meaning you crush up the plant and you make a poultice of it and apply it to whatever the affected area, from everything from mosquito bites to broken bones. It takes down the swelling. It's a very famous plant for that. So yarrow, it's worth collecting some of that to keep it as a kind of a first aid, you know, keep it as a kind of a first aid kit through the year. You can dry it, you can also freeze it. You know, I would chop it up small already because it gets more difficult to break down as it dries up or what have you. But yeah, it's worth putting aside in your traditional herb first aid kit. So the milkweed flowers are in bud, and milkweed itself, of course, it's a pretty toxic plant. You know, we can't digest it, so it's not good to eat as an edible in any way, for the most part. However, these little flower buds, this is the one thing that you can take home and cook. I just throw them on a skillet if I'm going to eat them, you know, with other vegetables and stuff. And you can cook those up and eat them. That's the only part. You might get some people riled up if they see you taking these, because they think that this is, well, it is a very important plant for the monarch butterflies, right? The monarchs lay their eggs on the milkweed, and the young eat the milkweed and all of this. So monarchs need milkweed. And in fact, I know there's some areas in Lethbridge where milkweed has been planted, you know, by people specifically to function as for that purpose with monarchs, to attract the monarchs and to help them. However, we're not in the range of monarchs, really. In 14 years studying out here, I've seen one monarch. They don't really come up here, you know, except for the oddballs that are kind of lost. So all of that work to help the monarchs here is you know, for no purpose. These milkweeds still are host to certain insects that breed on them, and that make use of them, and they're still very pretty flowers and all that stuff. They still have ecological roles beyond the monarch, is what I'm saying, but that's their story. Yeah, just scoping out the wet meadows here. Thought I would check on the development of the mint, and it's coming up, you know. It's down here, it's coming, but nowhere near harvest season on that yet. It is nice to see, like, the forest edge is just right here, and already I'm, you know, stepping into water on the wet meadows here. So this is one of the years where the meadows are living up to the really living up to the name I gave them, and it's probably one of the reasons why I'm not seeing any ducklings yet, because they should be hatched, but I'm betting mother ducks are just tooling around in the thick, lush wetlands here, and not coming out, you know, in the open on the pond and in water deep enough where the pike are gonna get to their babies. So very cool, very, very cool. Should be a lot of birds with nests now, and I just spotted a nest over here, though I don't know if it's old or new. It looks like it's an old nest. Yeah, that's a previous year's nest, but maybe I'll kind of look around a little bit and see what I can see. Oh, that's an interesting butterfly. Where'd he go? I'm gonna follow that guy, see if I can get a good look at him, because that's not one that I frequently see here. Check it out. I was walking along this trail here, kind of at the edge zone between the forest and, you know, the wet meadows out here. Anyway, I'm walking along this trail, and I notice all of a sudden off to the right there's this really beaten down but fairly fresh path, and I wasn't quite sure what to think about that. You know, this is fawn season, so some of the deer might be traveling certain paths really regularly. I'm not sure, but I also had in mind maybe that there's somebody, like some human out here, you know, camped. So I decided to take the trail, right? And what do you think I'm gonna find at the end here? Come around the bend, see this fallen tree back here. Looks like a really good start to a lean-to, a little shelter if you wanted to sleep out here. But then right over here, dun dun dun, I come across the real guy. See him back there? Yeah, when I first came in here, me and him met face to face. Pretty cool, but I'm still really shocked at you know, how much evidence of his presence he's leaving here. Well, I never did find any bird nests in the forest. I looked around a little bit, but not too much. Kind of feeling a little burnt out now, and ready to go relax, and I'm hungry. Never ate breakfast. But I figure before I go, I'll leave you with a little footage of painted turtles.